And now, as Jerry already announced, it's time to launch officially the long-awaited Tech Trends 2021. And I hope we didn't keep you too long waiting for it. Let me see. Yeah. Because what we're going to show you today is inspired by this quote. And as you know, especially the people who've been to this conference before and to the launches of our tech trends, if we look into the future, it's always a bit of a challenge to find what is important and what is not important. And we were inspired this time by the quote of Heinz Pagels, American physicist, who said 2 or 3 decades ago, the world changed from having the determinism of a clock to having the contingency of a pinball machine. And the tech trends of this year, maybe you already saw it outside, is in fact a pinball machine. And you see it here. I will explain it to you further, and after this short introduction, we'll have a round table discussion. Well, actually, it's not a round table, but it is a round table discussion, so that's probably, again, the metaphor of the, what is it, the square peg in a round hole or whatever. So let me ask you for 10 minutes to take you through the pinball machine and to show you how to play this machine. Before we do that, let's go to the process behind it. Every year in December, the STM Future Lab assembles in London in a beautiful room in Burlington House, and we have a brainstorm there with roughly 30 people participating. And the people who come there, they're usually development directors, technology directors, people who are in this area, strategists. And we brainstorm together. Everybody brings their top 3 elements or topics that they think will define the future of scholarly communication in the next few years. Then we use an afternoon to discuss all that, to make groupings, to see where the overlaps are or the conflicts. And together we jointly draw a bigger picture which clusters the main trends. Those results are available as of today in posters, stickers, PowerPoints. The version was under embargo until yesterday. It's now also launched on the STM website. So if you want a similar nice print like this, you can either take one of the few still left on the table outside or download it from the STM website. And there's a fully printable version available there. After today, we also have webinars available for STM members. We can do those in-house. Just send me an email, and I'll be more than happy to do that for you. These were the people involved this year. You can see, very busy up there, discussing all kinds of things. It's always a wonderful afternoon. We are planning already the next one in London. It is on December 4. Anybody interested in participating, let me know. We can always add a few new minds and brains and ideas to join in. This is a list of people who were helpful in further reducing all the findings we had after that afternoon and helping to draw the picture as we drew it. So now let's start the pinball machine. How does it work? It works like any other pinball machine. How many people in the room do we have who have been playing pinball machines when they were? Yeah, well, okay. So I don't need to explain too much of it. But of course, the essence of it is that your ball must hit the right elements. Then you get a lot of extra points. But if you play it wrong, you can also lose your ball and there are no more points. And it can even go really wrong if the table goes on tilt. So let's take, but as you can see, let's take a closer look at the things that you find on the table. The central theme is trust and integrity, because this group of 30 people thought that if something really counts in the next few years for publishers and for scholarly communication, it is keeping, maintaining, and ensuring trust and integrity. We're about information that should always be right and that should be trustworthy and trustful. So this trust and integrity element has been split up in 4 important roles for publishers. It is accuracy and curation, a very traditional role, of course, for many of us. It's increasingly about smart services involving all kinds of artificial intelligence. We heard many talks about that these few days. It's about collaboration and sharing, all the social networks coming up, and it is about serving individual researchers. Now, how do we play the game? If we look at sort of the end where the player stands, because that's, of course, the other important person, who's the player? All of us are the players. And so if you look at the lower end of the table, you see the launcher. That is innovation, sort of the technology push, you could say, or the pull and the push. And the ball is value. So if the ball hits the right elements and interacts with it in the right way, you gain points, you add value, you increase the value of scholarly communication. On its way through the playing field, the ball can hit all kinds of elements. It can also hit bumpers who can give it a certain direction. The main and most important bumper in our playing field are, of course, the researchers. That's why they take a central role, and they have such a shape that they can really bounce off the ball in many different directions. 2 other important bumpers are funders, institutions. I think it doesn't need any further explanation. And we also have the little things there with budgets and mandates that can also get the ball further into the field or actually make it drop out of the field. And then, of course, the big flippers that you play with as the pinball player, they are a combination of AI-assisted and human-assisted measures. So I think that also tunes in perfectly with some of the talks we heard yesterday about artificial intelligence, that it will never or not yet be 100% artificial intelligence. It's always the combination with human intervention and artificial intelligence and the way they work together. So let's go on. Again, here the central 4 core themes. I already mentioned them. And let's now go into each of those areas. The green area about accuracy and curation, which, as I said, has always been a very core function of scholarly publishers. It has a big bumper there called editorial process innovation, and you can see if you hit that one in the right way, you can even multiply your points. And there are also little bounces up there that can give your ball a completely new direction. For example, trust in peer review, very important, because if that goes away or if something goes wrong there, you're really in trouble. Reproducibility is one of those new elements, also heavily covered these days, so don't need to go into that. And of course, integrity checks. That comes very close to accuracy and curation. And you see some other elements there like quality control automation, plagiarism detection, image manipulation, metadata, validation tools. All of that, they also play a role in that area. And then there's the little channel there through which you can sort of relaunch your ball into the field. And that stands for successful digital strategies. If you know how to apply those, you can really sort of restart your game. So, next area, the one about the smart services. The one where there's the possibility and the opportunity to multiply points is to apply text and data mining in the right way. As you can see, very close to machine learning, big data applications. We also had a lot of presentations on that this week. And the new elements popping up there that may influence your ball are Internet of Things, blockchain, we just heard it, Maybe I'm still a little bit confused, but definitely at a higher level now. We also have things as a service, voice for interface, computer-created articles. You know, if cars can drive themselves, maybe articles can write themselves. So that is all where the smart services come in. The next area, serving individual researchers. Two big multipliers there. One is big user data applications, and the other one is, of course, personalized services. But also some caveats. They have to do with easy opt-out, with privacy measures, with individuals who don't want to be tracked and traced everywhere. On the other side, the opportunities are in recommendation filters, lifelong learning, doing more for the individual researchers themselves. Also, of course, with social challenges, access problems, as we deeply discussed this morning. Okay, on to the fourth area about collaboration and sharing. The big bumper there is integrated search and sharing. Yep, that's really what individuals working in teams all around the world would like to do. And the new elements there are the preprints, well, not so new, but the bouncing elements that can cause new directions are preprint servers and social networks. And we had a very interesting overview on preprint servers yesterday, I found. So then we come to the dark side of the table, if I may call it that way, and those are the areas where you can actually lose your ball if everything goes wrong. There's one on the left side which is called information warfare, and you find the elements there that have to do with misuse of personal data, alternative facts, non-facts, cyberbullying, but also, you know, the whole thing if science only becomes yet another opinion and things like that. So that's not where we want to get drawn into. There's also the area of cyber criminality with piracy, hackers, DDoS attacks, illegal piracy sites, and all of that. And if we look again at the bigger picture, which you see here, then you see that the cyber criminality is not completely by accident very close to what happens in collaboration and sharing, because there's sometimes a thin line on what gets shared with other people. And also you can see the information warfare part very close to smart services, because some artificial intelligence and some of those services do not only bring good stuff, but also more doubtful stuff. Well, anyway, this is the big picture again. As I said, I'm very happy to provide you with presentations within your own organization. If you want to have a discussion with your team about these new themes, and the PDF poster is available on our STM website. And maybe if you have questions really about the picture, please post them now, and otherwise we'll some of it might get covered in the square roundtable discussion. Any questions? Yeah, please. Are you all geared up to play the pinball? In that case, I would like to hand over to Chris Keneally, who will be moderating the square roundtable. And thank you very much.